Kurt Cobain, a name that defined a generation, a voice that captured the pain, confusion, and rebellion of the early 90s. But behind the fame, the music, and the bright lights, there was a man in turmoil. In April 1994, the world would lose him, and with his death came questions that still lingered decades later. Cobain was more than a musician. He was a frontman of Nirvana, a band that reshaped music with its breakthrough album Nevermind. Born in 1967 in Aberdeen, Washington, Kurt's early life was marked by a turbulent family situation. His parents' divorce and feelings of isolation shaped a man who would later channel his pain into some of the most influential music of a generation. By the early 1990s, Nirvana had exploded onto the global stage. Suddenly, Cobain, a once anxious, introverted teenager, was thrust into a world of screaming fans, media attention, and immense pressure to perform. Fame was both a blessing and a curse. He loved his music and the connection it gave him with fans, but the commercial expectations and constant scrutiny added to struggles he had faced for years. By 1993, those close to Cobain noticed a growing instability. Chronic health problems, including severe stomach pain, worsened his mood. Long-time drug use, particularly heroin, added to the danger. Friends described him as deeply introspective, creative, but increasingly isolated. He would swing between charm and playfulness one moment and deep withdrawal the next. March 1994 marked a critical point. After a brief rehab stay in Los Angeles, Cobain returned to Seattle. Friends noticed a darkening of mood, cryptic letters, and sudden erratic behavior. Public appearances dwindled, and he often avoided contact with those closest to him. On April 5th, he called a friend. His voice was anxious, expressing that he felt trapped and exhausted by the pressures of life and fame. Before he could finish, the call abruptly ended. Attempts to reach him in the following days went unanswered. By April 8th, concern had reached a breaking point. Friends went to his home in Seattle and discovered that Kurt Cobain was dead. He had died from a gunshot wound, confirmed as a suicide. A note left behind reflected his inner struggles and despair. The timeline, the note, and his recent behavior suggested a man battling severe depression and addiction, culminating in a tragic decision. Cobain's death shocked the world, but it also raised questions. Could the signs have been noticed earlier? Were there ways to intervene? Kurt Cobain's life and death remain a poignant story of genius, vulnerability, and the destructive pressures of fame. His music continues to influence generations, and his legacy endures in every note of Nirvana's recordings. His story is a reminder of how fragile even the brightest talent can be when faced with internal battles and relentless public scrutiny. Part 1 ends here, but the story doesn't stop. In Part 2, the focus shifts to the aftermath of his death, the investigation, public reaction, and the enduring fascination with Kurt Cobain's life and legacy.